This is the all-new 2019 Mercedes G-63 AMG, and what better place to showcase this vehicle than out here in beautiful California wine country, Temecula, California to be specific. And there's a lot of news on this vehicle out there, but we wanted to put our auto expert spin on this vehicle. So let's just get right to the nitty-gritty of it. Now, I almost feel like I need to pause and take a breath because I've been patiently waiting to get behind the wheel of this vehicle for a long time, and now we've had the ability to do that. What happens when you mix like a high-performance supercar like a McLaren with an SUV like a Ford Explorer? I know Mercedes probably won't like that, but you get the point. You get this. You get a high-performance sport utility vehicle. Let me start with a little bit of history. It was globally introduced in 1979, and they wanted it to be a civilian/non-civilian vehicle. Well, you get the civilian side. The non-civilian is they wanted it to be up to military grade, military specs. So you'll even notice the doors and the rear gate on this, they're super heavy. Now, this one is the AMG, and what does that mean? It means you get a variety of things that are upgraded with the vehicle. So on the exterior of this, you got four things, right? Four things. You get a bull bar on front. That's something that sets it apart. You get wider fender flares, which are great for off-roading because they wanted this to be one of the ultimate off-road vehicles. This fender flare prevents rocks and dirt from kicking up onto the vehicle itself and scratching the paint. The option for 22-inch wheels and tires, these are forged. They cost $4,000, and they are an option for the vehicle. As you make your way to the back, always one of my favorite features are side exhaust. You have dual exhaust on both sides of this vehicle, and that not only will talk about sound, but this just looks super cool. So there's four features on the exterior. They redesigned parts of the exterior. They totally redesigned the interior to make the G63 AMG a total standout. It's all about AMG performance, and I want to give a special shout out to my really good friend Dennis Bogner. He's not really my friend, but Dennis Bogner, his name is signed right here on the motor with Mercedes-AMG in Germany. Now, why is his name on here? That's because with the AMG, they handcraft every single motor. And by the way, this cool carbon fiber piece right on top of the motor, that's a $1,500 option. So when we think about how does the price continue to escalate, it's because they add all of these super cool features on it. Now, a couple things before we get into what is physically under the hood relating to horsepower and torque. You have this massive strut tower bar that covers the entire engine cavity, and that provides torsional rigidity. So when you're taking this vehicle at high speed, and if you really do want to take it off-road or on the track, it just helps the vehicle from not swaying side to side. It keeps it nice and firm and planted on the pavement or on the dirt. All right, ready for this. 577 horsepower, 627 foot-pounds of torque, and that's mated with a 9-speed select shift transmission. So this thing just rips through the gears, and one of my favorite features on the inside is a simple selector button that allows you to toggle between an individually customized driving mode, a sport mode, and then my favorite mode, which is the Sport Plus mode, that unleashes the active exhaust on this AMG vehicle. So you'll literally be sitting there in a parking lot and you will have the vehicle in the normal sport mode and it'll sound pretty aggressive, but then when you push it to the Sport Plus, that active exhaust opens up and it just gets really mean and throaty. We already mentioned the 0 to 60 time, but we'll give it to you again. It's 3.9 seconds, and that's 0.9 seconds faster than the previous G-Wagon version. So you get a lot of horsepower under the hood of this vehicle. It really is a high-performance vehicle. It just happens to be a sport utility vehicle. Paying homage to the original back in 1979 with the turn signal indicators right up here on the front hood of the vehicle. It's really neat to see. When you're driving, you can see these when you turn left, turn right. Now, remember Optimus Prime in the Transformers movie? I swear these are his eyes. This is where they pulled that DNA from. Full LED lights, and one of the best features about the lights is when you're out driving at night and you hit the high beam, the lights will automatically open up like a screen at the movie theater. You just see it in front of you, go, opens right up. I love that feature of the lights. It's just super cool technology. And with the price point, you should be getting that kind of cool technology. So we talked about all the performance. We talked about the torque and the horsepower and the torsional rigidity with the strut tower bar. But what we didn't talk about was actual towing capacity. So this is a special shout out to Janine Pettit, my good friend at Girl Camper. She always wants my videos to talk about towing capacity because that's the world she lives in. So let me tell you a little bit about the towing capacity with the AMG. 7,700 is what you have the ability to pull with this vehicle. So if you think about a small ultralight trailer, you can pull it with this. Now, I mentioned that strut tower bar that crosses over the front of the engine. That will help for towing capacity as well. So if you are into glamping, because if you have this vehicle, you have to have a nice trailer to tow it with. This is a great vehicle to tow with that 7,700 horsepower. So shout out to Girl Camper with a little towing capacity. Now, I mentioned the doors. Let me stop talking and let you hear it. They're beefy and they're heavy. Even on the rear of this vehicle, you have the tire that's mounted on the rear. It has such a beefy sound with the weight of those doors. And that goes back to the military grade specs that Mercedes wanted with this vehicle. Now, let's get inside because I do want to show you some of the specific cool features of what they've done on the interior. We've now made our way to the interior of the G-63 AMG, and I just wanted to, I always like to get the key fob in, and the key fob totally falls in line with what the AMG is. It's nice and heavy, it's kind of bold, it has that aggressive feel to it, but it's also sleek, totally defines the vehicle. All right, so let's get into some of the attributes on the interior. First off, carbon fiber is everywhere. There is an additional price point. It is an upgrade, but it's awesome. I mean, you've got this simple push button in the middle on your center console that slides back. It's all carbon fiber. And that gives you a nice feel on the interior. Not to mention it's packed with just supple leather. So when you get inside the cockpit, it feels like the vehicle is encapsulating you. The screen, this is all new for 2019. Now, it's divided into two and each one is 12.3 inches in width. But when you look at it as a driver, it feels like the entire front part of the dashboard is one big instrument cluster, and I love that feature. Our camera guy Harrison was talking about the air vents on this thing, and they are so cool. They're just different. Nobody else is doing kind of a setup like this with these air vents. All right, a couple features I want to point out as well, and one of them is an industry exclusive that nobody else has. I'll get to that last, so stay tuned for that last part. On the steering wheel, you have paddle shifters. That's all I frankly care about are the paddle shifters, because I can actually toggle between normal standard driving mode and a manual driving mode. So if I'm on the track with that 9-speed select shift transmission, I can hold it in second gear, I can hold it in third gear, and I upshift when I choose to upshift, which makes it super fun when out wheeling this vehicle. All right, here is the last feature on the interior that nobody else is doing in the marketplace. So if you're on a track and you hit a turn, or you're just on the streets and you hit a turn, there are airbags on the sides of the seats on both the driver and passenger side. So when I start to turn left, the air will bolster onto the right side immediately to hug my body as I make that turn. So I'm not sliding back and forth on a turn. It hugs your body, and nobody else is doing that in the industry. So the interior of the G63 is packed with luxury. Of course, you get your moon roof and all that fun stuff, but it's really about the performance attributes, the carbon fiber, and of course that exclusive with the seat. How do you find where the release is for the hood? It took us like 2 minutes. So you actually have to reach way under the dash, and there is a red big, and it's not small, it's a big red grab handle, and you just grab under that handle, boom, and that hood pops up. We're gonna talk about second row seating now. The vehicle gets 5 inches wider and 4 inches longer. Now, this seat is set for me up in the front. You know, I love to say in every video I'm 6'3", which means I got long legs, but there is not a lot of second row seating in this vehicle, even though they did make it a longer vehicle. Now, what I will say is that somebody that is smaller than me up in the front, you'll have more room in the vehicle for that second row seating. Carbon fiber accents on the second row and heated seats. I like that functionality as well. Again, it's all about luxury inside the G-63 AMG. And then as we make our way to the back of the vehicle, you can see there's plenty of cargo capacity back there for suitcases or, you know, things if you want to really take it off-road and go camping, you do that. Although I don't know about this leather for off-roading. I'm gonna get it dirty. I don't wanna get it dirty, not at the price point. And of course, we talked about the cargo capacity in the back of the G63. You got plenty of room. We like to leave our gear in here. That way it kind of gives you a little bit of perspective on how much volume the vehicle has in the rear. But of course, I want to end with, you ready? Let's do it. I feel like I need to be quiet when I talk about the rear. Here we go. Here's the weight. You ready? Listen to the sound. Ugh. I love the doors on this thing. It just sounds so amazing. It's just awesome. Driving characteristics. It's awesome. I mentioned earlier that it feels like you're encapsulated inside this vehicle. It's almost like a cockpit, but when we really want to talk about the performance, you have to get behind the wheel. So off-roading, it is incredibly capable. It will literally crawl right up the rocks, and if it detects wheel slippage, the other wheels and tires will grab and pull you up the hill. The 0 to 60, we wanted to feel it, so we did it right off the line with a full brake stand and gave it full acceleration, and it's fast. Almost fast enough where you can feel the vehicle kind of slide a little bit as you shift through the gears, because that torque is just pulling it so hard up through the gears, and you feel every amount of that horsepower under the hood. The paddle shifters, super refined, fast and responsive, and definitely give you that feel of being in a supercar. Let's get down to the brass tacks of the Mercedes G63 AMG. With this package, you're gonna get the bull bar up front, you're gonna get the beautiful 22-inch wheels and tires with the fender flares that extend out and the awesome exhaust. You get 577 horsepower under the hood with 627 pound-feet of torque. That means the thing is blistering fast. Then you made in those paddle shifters, you made in the fact that you've got 9-speed transmission, and you have the ability with those paddle shifters to hold it in manual transmission mode. The thing is super fun to drive. Now, are you going to take this vehicle off-road? You do have 3 different locking differential setups with this vehicle, but are you going to do it? The chances are probably not. For $175,000, I don't think I'm going to want to take this thing off-road. And if I can afford it, I'm probably going to go buy myself a Jeep. But with that said, it is more functional than just about any other vehicle on the market. Add in an industry first with those side bolstering seats, and you've got a killer package. So forget the fact if you're an NFL athlete or a musician that you can afford this vehicle. If you're just a person in the market that wants the ultimate off-road vehicle, mated with the ultimate luxury vehicle, this is the one for you. Starting price for this G63 with the AMG package is $147,500. This one, prices tested, was just north of $175,000. There you have it with the Mercedes G63 AMG Ultimate Performance Off-Road Vehicle. We'll see you guys next time. We'll bring you something else special. Well, hey guys, I'm Nick Miles here in Temecula, California, and this is one of the most anticipated vehicles of all time. Sorry, I'm not wearing my ascot today, but this is the Mercedes G63 AMG. AMG. It's a beautiful car, and it's part British and part Australian and part German, because that's what my voice sounds like right now. But I wanted to give you all a sneak peek at this vehicle. I'm Nick Miles for Fox 5. All right, if you like this video, please help us out. Subscribe to our YouTube page. Just Google my name, Mike Caudill, in YouTube. I'll pop up. You'll see a bunch of car videos. Also, follow us on Facebook. Follow us on Instagram. We're really working to get the message out about what makes vehicles cool in the marketplace. For now, cliche, we'll see you on the road.